Hi guys! Okay, so as promised, I wanted to do a quick overview on stories, how I use them. I'll probably follow up another one like with little tips and tricks and that sort of thing, but this is kind of like the intro to using stories and kind of little different things that you can do. And I'll also give you some apps that may be helpful to kind of like spice up your stories. So, and just ignore me. Yes, I'm in my robe and it's like 2 o'clock. I work from home, so like, don't worry about me. All right, so if you are not familiar with stories, I'll open up my Facebook first. So let me turn down the brightness on my phone. Stories are at the top of your Facebook feed, and I guess I need to turn down more. And basically, they are these right here. And so when you click on someone's story, for instance, Erin is on my team. When you click on someone's story, it literally allows you to view their life and just like kind of different things. Okay, well, that one's not good. Kind of different things like throughout people's day. I like to say that like your Facebook page, your Instagram, whatever social media platform that you use, those are like your when you go to your actual like page, like when I actually pull up my page, like this is like literally, this is like my magazine cover. Like I want this to be like my highlight reel almost. Like I want them to be the pretty edited pictures. I want everything on my page to look perfect and good. But if you know me, or really honestly anyone for that matter, they're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. And stories kind of allow you to see the behind the scenes of people's lives. And so that's what makes them super, super interesting, is because like you can be following some Instagram model, but like behind the scenes, like she's maybe clumsy, she eats a lot, like she, maybe she talks about different stories of her life, like different aspects. And so stories actually allow you to get to know someone. And I'll tell you this, stories on Instagram are how I like literally sign up predominantly a lot of the people that come to me to join this business. So with my stories and on Instagram, it looks like these at the top right here. So I can literally click someone's story, just like the circle of their face. Maybe it's not pulling up now, of course. I've had really bad. Okay, so I just click this girl's face and I can just scroll through people's stuff. And so it's literally like tiny little advertisements or behind the scenes type stuff of people's lives. Like people do selfies, like whatever. You can literally do whatever. What's important about your stories is you cannot bog it down with your business. Stories are where a lot of your business is going to come from. But if you make it all about your business, people are going to skip over it. Just like if you go to someone's Facebook page and literally all it is like, my shake. Oh, I'm working out. Here's a before and after. My shake. Or join my team. Like nobody cares. Okay, like go away. Like nobody cares about that. Same thing with stories. People don't want to just see you talking about the business 24/7. They want to get to know you. And if you can drop hints in there about the business or get in there and talk about the business, that's the best thing you can possibly do. You can make opportunity videos. You can talk about the opportunity. You can talk about like what you do, or you can completely talk about like stuff that's completely opposite. Like I literally got on there the other day and told Ryan how she told my her gym teacher that my butt's getting bigger. And so like stuff like, it's just like my life, like behind the scenes. That's what your story is. So again, like your Facebook page and like your Instagram page, that's your highlight reel. That's like you have to put like time and effort into your pictures. Like don't just be posting random stuff. Put time into it. That's literally like your cubicle, like where you go and sit down into office and work. Like you wouldn't just take a shit on your keyboard and be like, okay, I'm here at work. Like that's literally like what you do when you don't put time and effort into your Facebook feed. And so, but your stories, they do not have to be perfect. Stories are really good for being like, just kind of like perfectly imperfect. And if your stories are too perfect, people are not going to relate to you and they're not going to hit you up in your DMs. And when I say DMs, like on Instagram, that's like where your private messenger is. Like if you were going to message somebody on Facebook. So to give you an idea of what my story looks like, a lot of the time I do like a quote. Dang it. Like why is it not just like going to let you show what my life, or like I always pretty much start out the day with a quote. There we go. It's because the light. No, it's not. Okay, so I always start my day with a quote, and then I'm sharing recipes, like what I cooked last night, using video, stuff that's like interactive, like boomerang type stuff is always really, really good. Stuff that like keeps people's attention, because here's the thing. If you post and here I am talking in my thing, so hold on, I'm going to pause this real quick. If you post a like picture or something, make sure it's interesting, okay? Because people have to stare at it for 15 seconds. Stories last for 15 seconds and they disappear in 24 hours. So make sure if you post a picture of a quote or you're posting a picture of your dog, make sure it's cute and you think it's something that somebody would want to look at for 15 seconds. Because if not, what's going to happen is they literally can skip the rest of your story and go to somebody else's. Like, let's say this girl right here. Let's say I went over here. I didn't want to see all her stuff. I could literally, she's got stories lined up all across the top. I really don't think you can see them on my screen, but I literally could skip her whole entire story if I'm not interested. And now I'm in a completely new person's story. So you have to put time and effort into your stories, and make sure that you're not just like spamming people. You know, like you want to show the behind scenes of your life, but you don't want to spam people. But on mine, I usually do a quote or two a day. I like to show people like when I'm cooking, if I'm making healthy food. I like right here, I did a picture of like my healthy nachos that I made last night. What I love to do that has been crucial in my business is I love talking on my stories. And when you talk on your stories, a lot of the time people are watching from work. So it's important that you do. I can't believe I got on there and looked like that. But again, you guys, like, this is not my perfect self. Like, this is me being myself. This is actually what I look like 99% of the time. This is the person my husband married. My, like, extensions are popping out on the side. But I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with showing my imperfect self because I want people to know, like, I am not, like, a filtered picture. I'm very real and I'm very myself. But when people are sitting down and they're scrolling through people's stories, you got to think a lot of people are doing it while they're at work and they don't have the volume on your phone. Like, you hear how there's no volume coming from my sound, like my mouth right now from my story? There's none. So it's really important that you put something right here, like the wording that's going to catch people's attention, that will make people want to listen to what you have to say. Now, the rule of thumb when you're talking in your stories is that you do not go over 3 or 4 slides. And so roughly that's about 45 seconds to a minute. Like, you do not want to go over 3 or 4 slides because people lose interest. I don't care who you are, the most interesting person in the world. Like, nobody is more interesting to watch for longer than a minute on your stories. Like, you got to think, like, people use social media to like be engaged and be entertained 24/7. And unless you're like, I don't know, Kevin Hart and you're freaking hilarious, like, you don't need to be doing stories that long. But I show stuff like just throughout my day, and that's all your stories are. That's all your stories are. Now, what I really like to do, even though I don't have a lot, almost like anything on my stories about my business, what I like to do is I like to drop hints. So notice on my boomerang right here. So boomerang is when you do a picture and it basically loops back around and repeats itself. It's like a little video. I like to put in things like, I literally work from home. I work in my robe. I'm not telling people, I'm not shoving the business in people's face. I'm not telling people what I do. I'm actually not telling them anything. But I put the time at the top. It's 1:41 and I'm in my robe. I do that because I want people from the outside looking in who see me like and constantly follow my stuff. I want them to see and eventually just be like, hey girl, like, what do you do? Like, you're always in your robe, or, you know, you're always, you know, out with your dog or doing things like that. That's the purpose of your story. Your stories show what you're doing behind the scenes, and they can be so crucial to your business because they allow people to basically see maybe how you run your business, or if you work from home, show, you know, pictures of your home during the middle of the day. Like, I could take pictures of like a clean kitchen or something like that. But I will tell you this, when you're doing your stories, so say it's on Instagram, you swipe and a screen like this pops up. Oh, you guys, you can literally see all my dishes in the sink. I'm so embarrassed. All right, you literally, let me like go this way. That's really embarrassing. I told Eric I was going to take care of that today. Anyway, I haven't done it yet. Anyway, so, okay, right here on my screen, this is what your stories pop up. This is what it looks like also on Instagram, okay, or on Facebook. You have normal, which is like a normal video. So when I record myself talking, I hold down the button and I'm literally like, Oh my gosh, I love the robe life. I used to have to wear work clothes to, work every day. I used to have to be a teacher and wear slacks. You guys, like, life is so much better when you don't have to button your pants. And like, literally, I would post that on my story. That's actually really funny. I'm not going to do it. But you can literally just, like I said, like when people, you can record yourself, you can take a standstill photo, but when you're recording yourself, make sure what you do, at the top, you have letters, and this is how I write, okay? So I literally can just do any little letters right here. At the top, you have fonts, and you can, okay, whoops, that's the link stuff. At the top, you have fonts, so there's different fonts. Make sure you're maximizing those and using different fonts. Again, the more attractive you keep your stuff, the more people are going to continue watching you. Now, something fun that I really like to do, if you press this little sticker dude at the top, it's a square looking sticker guy with a face, click that, and you are literally into everything. Like if you have for instance, your Instagram on public, you can check into locations. I never check into unless I'm somewhere like I'm traveling or something, I really never check into the exact location where I am because I like don't want to be kidnapped or like sold to like sex trafficking people. So like for instance, like I live in like the South Houston area, but typically I check in at the North Houston area, which I don't know if that actually is ever going to save me. But what it does is people, when they search geotags, so when they search locations, my story is going to pop up. And so like that's why I have like almost 8,000 followers, because like I do things like check into locations. I use hashtags, like there's hashtags right here. And hashtags is a completely different training, but hashtags is a really good way to gain followers too. I do things like add the time. You can do a countdown. You can do things like polls. If you do like opportunity stories or whatever, like polls are really good for people to vote on your story and get extra info. So when I mean by that, I could put above this, like, don't you wish you could wear your robe every single day? And then on my poll, I could do yes, and then tell me more. And that allows people, I never brought up really the business to them ever. But I put a poll on there, so when people are swiping through, they can tap the poll. And guess what? I never had to send a cold message. And now I know that someone's interested in working from home and like, wearing their robe 24/7 with me. And so that basically gives me permission to slide into their DM or message them basically. So that's the cool thing about the poll. Another thing you can do with that little sticky guy dude at the top, you can add the GIFs. And by GIFs, they just basically add animation. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep the glare off this. I don't know. You can add animation to your videos. And so for instance, like let's say that says nap. So I could put this in the corner. Oh, it disappeared. JK, hold on. I could add that in the corner. And so it kind of just makes it a little bit more fun. Like you can literally, there's a search bar and you can literally type in whatever you're looking for. You can type in zebras, you can type in money, you can type in Kanye West, you can type in Kim Kardashian's butt. Like you literally could put anything on your stories in a GIF, and that's the cool thing. I have a girl on my team right now, her name is Erin, and she has an awesome opportunity story up, and I'll flip through it just so y'all can kind of see like how opportunity stories work. But talking in my stories like this has been a game changer for my business. I highly suggest you implement it now. Don't worry about it being perfect. It literally disappears in 24 hours. If you stutter, just like, oh my God, you guys, I'm not good with words. Like, Lord help me. And then just keep going. Like, it's funny. Like, when people do that on their stories, I always comment on them or whatever. And I'm like, girl, me too. I just get so hyped sometimes. I just like want to spit it all out at once, but I can't help it. And they're like, ah, ha, ha, me too. And like, look, I just made a new friend just because she decided to stutter and put it up there. Okay, so outside from recording yourself, you can do boomerangs. And boomerangs were what I was showing you. Like just then I had my robe and I was like this. And it basically, when you take a picture and it puts the picture on a loop. And so for instance, it literally does this. It just loops the picture. Okay, you can do that. You can go live. You can create, like where you just type. where you just type stuff in. So I could type a quote. I could type literally whatever you want. It doesn't matter. There's layouts like this where I could add in multiple pictures. Super zoom. So like the zoom, it gives you different fun things to do. But I'm just showing you guys like all the different features. You got to hop on and you got to play with it, because when your stories are interactive and engaging, that's when your stories are like people want to watch them. If it's bogged down with the business and things that are not interesting, people really just don't care. Like this story, it's not doing as well, but I mean, I have like almost 700 views on it. You guys, that's 700 people I'm exposing to my business opportunity without having to shove the opportunity in their face just because I took a picture of my robe or whatever. Like, think about repeated exposure of that every single day. Eventually, some of those 700 people, they're going to reach out and they're going to be like, okay, I've been watching your story for like a month now. Can you just like kind of explain like what you do? Because like you're always so tan drinking margaritas. And I'm like, dude, I would love to. And you guys, that is how I sign up a lot of people. So just make sure you have a really good balance. Like like I said, don't be posting business. When people start out, I typically tell them to try and talk in their stories every other day. But you guys, like if it's not perfect right off the bat, like if I'm sitting here and I'm recording a video of myself that I want to post, but I really don't like exactly how I'm saying it, I literally can delete it and record it until I'm comfortable doing it. There's filters on here too. So if you're not super comfortable with doing anything without a filter yet, there's filters on there. I've got like a big giant zit on my forehead right now. And if it's not covered up in makeup, like I literally, there's even a filter that like removes my zit. It makes my face look super smooth. And so like, there's stuff like that too, but then y'all saw my other story of me talking and I look so ratchet. So don't be afraid to be yourself in your story. That's like your zone to show people who you really are. I'm sorry, but if you're posting positive quotes, if you go to my wall, like, yes, I'm pouring into people about self-belief, taking chances on yourself, what this has done in my life and that sort of thing. But you're not actually going to get to know me if all you do is look at my page. Like you're going to know that I have kids and I like to vacation and that sort of stuff, but like you're not really going to know me. You're really not going to have a good idea. My stories is where you can actually be like, oh my God, I feel like I know this girl. I feel like we would be best friends in real life. So that's what your stories get to do. When you go and you're doing it on Facebook, all you have to do, there's a picture of yourself right there. All you have to do is click that, and then I literally can add to my stories. So I'm picking out shoes, okay? And I can add a poll to it, and I could add a poll to it. I can ask a question. Questions are always good. And I could say, which pair should I get? And I literally can put that on my stories. And so that's the cool thing. It allows for extra interaction outside of your feed. So I'll go through my stories one more time just so y'all can kind of see what I did. But I start out with a quote. I showed myself making dinner last night. And like, notice how I tell people to turn their sound on because I'm talking. And so there's me, there's my dinner. I post a quote because I just woke up this morning. I'm talking. And again, I put the writing down at the bottom just in case someone doesn't have their volume on. That would make them interested in watching this in the first place. And then, I'm not really a big headband person, but I got some headbands in the mail today, so I didn't know. Hence, this matches my robe. I'm not trying to be bougie. It just happened to coincidentally happen like that. But you guys, it's just my life, okay? And this is really, really important because it allows people to actually see the real you and feel connected with you. People do business with people they like, they know, and they trust. How are they going to know if they like you if all you do is post positive quotes and pictures of your dog? How are they going to feel like they know you if you don't share parts of your life? And then how are they going to know that they can trust you if you're not consistent? And so stories is a really good way to reinforce your business. Like you are losing out on so much business if you're not using them. hopefully I covered like some of the basis and like the stuff that you could do. I did want to show y'all real quick because we were talking about opportunity. I mentioned opportunity videos a couple times. Let me just go to my team chat real quick and I'll show you Erin's opportunity video. It's really good. This is Erin's story right now. And so basically in her story, she's sharing like almost like her life, but she's talking about the business too. So Erin came from another company where it was like a lot of cold messaging and pushing products. And so she's able to sit here and talk about the things that we don't have here. Now, this is not something that you do every single day, but it's something that's awesome that you can put in here. But see how awesome, like interactive and how colorful her story is? It's so good. And then she put a poll on there so people could vote if they were interested. And sometimes people are not going to vote like right off the bat. Sometimes it just takes time for people like to see it over and over again. But I hope this helps people. Okay, and a couple of the apps that I like to use for my stories, my favorite one is Over. And so Over comes preloaded with a ton of templates. It takes time to get used to. But basically, you can choose something up here. Let's just do this. You have sizes down the bottom. You can make it into a story. And then basically you have a blank canvas and all these things down here on the bottom. I now have all these graphics. And so now I can make a story with a super cute background, like that sort of thing. Again, like your stories don't have to be perfect, but they do have to be entertaining if you want people to keep watching your stories. And I know like a lot of the time people, Unfold is a really good one too. So let me pull up, this is my opportunity story from the other day. I introduced myself and then put a picture of me teaching. Just a couple of things I was worried about, what this did for my life. Some of the things we don't have in this business, like no cold messaging, no big buy impacts, there's an auto bonus, and then right here, I would put a poll so people could vote. But like I said, that's a whole different training, but two of my favorite ones are Unfold and Over. If you want to record a video, a good one is called Viva, well not record it, but like edit a video. One is called Viva Video, like Viva Las Vegas, but it's Viva Video. And so literally you can edit, you can cut up, you can, mash together different videos. But one of the biggest things I hear all the time is like, oh my God, I'm so boring, or oh, I just work all day long. Like I'm not exciting. How am I supposed to keep my stories updated? Well, okay, first things first, you're not a boring person. Okay, you're just not. Everybody has some side of them that, it would be interesting to somebody. You just need to find the right audience. But like, for instance, when I was a teacher and I was working all day freaking long, you guys, if I didn't post to my stories, that would have been like 6 a.m. all the way to 6 p.m. I would have missed a ton of people. Not acceptable. So like what I could do instead of just like, posting, stuff like I am now, like outside and in my robe, I literally could sit here and I could tell a story. I used to teach high school, and so I could tell a story about, for instance, like this kid came into my classroom. You guys, oh my God, this kid came into my classroom. You're not going to believe it. He dropped his backpack and literally, I'm not kidding you, maybe 500 forks fell out. Like what in the actual? And like, that's a story, okay? Like I'm just connecting with my audience, and that's all you're doing. You're just giving people a chance to get to know you. It takes time. You don't want to do too many stories in a day. You don't want to talk too much on your stories and that sort of thing. Maybe I can do like a do's and don'ts type training or something more hands-on later. But if you're not using your stories, start now, because you're missing a lot of business and you're missing out on connecting with your followers. So I hope that kind of helped. If there's any way I can help, feel free to reach out to me.